When did your teacher ask the class a question nobody should ever answer? My teacher made us write an invisibility list, not the superpower kind. Worse, Mr. Calloway walked in on a Tuesday with no textbooks, no slides, just a stack of blank index cards. He handed one to each of us. Write down the name of one classmate you wouldn't notice if they disappeared tomorrow. I laughed. I thought it was one of his weird icebreakers. Nobody else laughed. This isn't a joke. One name. Someone who could vanish from this room and your life wouldn't change. Renata raised her hand. That's really messed up. Answer the question or take a 0 on your participation grade this semester. For one question? Bryce asked. For this question? Yes. I looked around. 28 of us. Some were already writing. Lena, who sat behind me, whispered, just pick someone random. It doesn't mean anything. I didn't want to write anything. But then Mr. Calloway added, if anyone refuses, I'll read the cards out loud with your name attached to each answer. That changed things. Suddenly it wasn't about the question. It was about protecting yourself. I wrote a name. Someone quiet. Someone I'd sat next to for 3 years and never spoken to. Dustin Pale. Handed it in. Felt sick doing it. Mr. Calloway collected every card. He read them silently, sorting them into piles. One pile kept growing. He counted it. Then he looked up. Dustin. Stand up. My stomach dropped. Dustin stood. Slowly. He was already read. Class. Dustin's name appeared on 23 out of 28 cards. Almost every single one of you said you wouldn't notice if he disappeared. Dustin didn't sit down. He didn't move. He just, music stood there, absorbing it. That's not fair, Renata said. You made us write that. I made you be honest. There's a difference. This is cruel, Lena said. Is it? Or is what you all just admitted the cruel part? Nobody had an answer. Mr. Calloway turned off the lights. A projector flickered on. A photo appeared. A boy, maybe 16. Soccer jersey, grinning wide. Anyone know who this is? Silence. His name was Oliver Calloway. He was a sophomore at Ridgemont High, 6 miles from here. Same last name. I felt something cold crawl through me. Oliver was what teachers called a quiet kid. Not disruptive, not struggling, just invisible. He ate lunch alone, sat in the back, did his work, went home. Music. Mr. Calloway's voice cracked for the first time. One day the school assigned a group project. Every student picked their own teams. Oliver wasn't picked last. He wasn't picked at all. The teacher had to force a group to take him. They complained out loud. He heard every word. That night, Oliver wrote letters, not angry ones. He thanked his teachers. He apologized to his parents for not being more interesting. He wrote to his classmates that he understood why they didn't notice him. He said he'd been trying to matter for 3 years, and he was tired. Nobody was breathing. The next morning, his mom found the letters on his desk. Oliver had walked to the railroad bridge on Henson Music Road at 4 a.m. Renata was crying. Someone behind me was shaking. The school held an assembly, put up a memorial banner. Kids who never once spoke to him posted online. Rest in peace, Oliver. You mattered. But he didn't matter to them when he was breathing. Not enough to sit with him. Not enough to learn his name. Not enough to look at him once. Mr. Calloway wiped his face. 23 of you just said Dustin could disappear and you wouldn't care. Has anyone here ever invited him anywhere? Silence. Asked how his weekend was? Nothing. Known his birthday? Dead silence. That's not bullying. Nobody called him a name. Nobody shoved him in a hallway. You just decided he was invisible. And that, music, was enough. Mr. Calloway turned the projector off. Oliver was my little brother. He was 15. I was away at college when it happened. I didn't call him enough either. I carry that every single day. Dustin was still standing, tears running down his face, but completely silent, like he'd practiced not being noticed even while he was breaking apart. I walked up to Dustin after class, said the most pathetic overdue sentence of my life. Hey, I'm Nolan. Want to grab lunch? He looked at me like nobody had ever asked him that, because nobody had. Mr. Calloway resigned at the end of the semester. The school said his methods were psychologically inappropriate. Maybe they were. But 23 of us learned something that day no textbook could teach. The most dangerous thing you can do to a person isn't hate them. It's forget they exist.